So with it, analysis of you, blackout versus puff. This isn't. It's an interesting matchup because you would think. I mean, like you can play this pretty aggressively, by like when a puff is on the ground, jumping in on her with with fares and bears. When she's in the air, if you get her at a certain angle, you can also go in with fares, like rising fares and rising bears. And of course, you got to use your needles. Got to use your aerial needles, and also standing needles sometimes to poke at her, build that percent. And then, of course, when she's when she's on the ground in general, you can't really whiff punish her unless you're getting it like a guaranteed shield grab, or or whiff punishing her. So those are the two kind of times where you can actually grab her. But other than that, generally stay away. With all that said, let's get into the match. Okay, I agree with the decision to charge needles. I'm not sure how I feel about this grab. Charge needles. I think run off fair. Yeah, I agree with it. And then grabbing here in this position just is pretty bad, just because puff can really easily crouch under you in this situation. And even after the fair, if you hit the fair here, I think it would still be a bad idea to grab. Just because puff in her crouching animation could very easily duck the grab. If she's standing down, she can also very easily duck the grab. So I guess, if you didn't hit this fair, something to consider I think would be short out fairing here. Like dash forward, short out fair. Although you'd be putting yourself into a bear range, so maybe that might not be such a good idea. If you don't, you could also. Okay, let's count the frames. I'm gonna assume this is 30 frames per second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're active here. You could just F-tilt here. F-tilt would be a totally reasonable option, I think. Yeah, but F-tilt still has a problem of being ducked by puff. I think in general F-tilt's pretty good, pretty solid against aerial puff. So that might be an option to consider here. I mean, this might have been a missed input, but I can't tell exactly what the missed input, where the missed input, what you were trying to do instead of this grab. I'm giving you some faith here. Maybe an air? No, that wouldn't work. Maybe a dash attack. Maybe. Actually, no, that wouldn't work. Anyways, but grab, bad idea. Puff just comes on top of you, whiff punches you. You also evaluate decision. So you back up, charge needles, shield puffs bear. So this is where you charge needles. You charge needles a little bit too late. It's almost like you processed the spacing we were at after the roll. It's almost like you were processing this spacing. You just now start processing this spacing. And puff coming in at you, I don't think. If you see puff coming in at you, I don't think it's a good cue to charge needles. You could just F-tilt her here. You'd also rising nair here. That rising nair is pretty solid against puff. Pretty solid against aerial puff. Throw needles. Okay, strong fair there. And when you're in this situation, staring down crouching puff, you can actually just keep hitting her with the aerials. You could short hop back, fair her. You could also short hop back, needle her. Those would both be really good options. Down smash is kind of worth considering. I don't think it knocks down at this percent. Let's take a trip to 90 data. So attacker is sheiK. Down smash, hit 1. Is that the good one? I do 0. Okay, I'm gonna assume this is a good. This is the good hitbox of like the bottom hitbox, one that comes out immediately. Oh shit, Puff. Do you? Okay, how do we? Okay, is there an ASDI? So she can crouch cancel it up until a lot. Okay, so maybe down smash is not that good in this situation. Yeah, I mean also just not knowing how to use ID data except for doing trajectory stuff, like figuring out what kills. But I think like a good option to explore in this situation would be the short hop back fair, or just short hop fair in general. That's really good for like if you space it cleanly, you space it a grab. That's really solid for bullying Puff. And then if you want to try and get a cheeky grab on Puff, you could try to needle her. Like if you're trying to get a cheeky F tilt on her or grab on her, or even just a down smash on her, you could short hop needle, like charge about 2 needles and then hit her with them. So those are all good options worth considering. Well, did you try and grab that? Is that a grab I see? Or is that a jab? I think that's a jab. Oh, this must be in... Oh, this is in 60 frames. Okay. So that was a jab. Be careful about jabbing, crouching Puff. Be very careful about jabbing, crouching Puff, and in general jabbing. Like, it's really important to not just, like, throw out jab without thinking, in general as sheiK. Just because you can get punished on crouch cancel. Like, if Puff sees jab and has, like, what... average human reaction time is like 15 milliseconds, I think. Something like that. Or like 0.15 seconds. So she had a little bit of time to jump into you. I think if she's anticipating the jab, she can jump into you there and rest you. But I think just a better option in the situation would be the short hop fair, for sure. Like even here you could have short hop fared. Like you really don't need to be, like you really shouldn't be afraid of Puff in this situation. Like you should never be afraid of crouching Puff. You shouldn't be afraid, but you should be careful. There's a distinction between being afraid and being careful in this matchup of like when you're like playing around back air and crouch and all that stuff. And like being careful just means that you space outside or grab, that you use like your movement to get inside bear, like to get close to her to avoid bear's hitbox and to get close to her. Whereas playing scared is just like doing a full hop here, right, instead of a short hop. Or like dashing back to the corner when you see Puff crouching or something like that, or like dashing back when you see Puff bearing you and not taking space. Okay, I'm not a fan of these full hops. Was that just a short hop? That might have just been a short hop. Actually... What? No, that was a... Oh, man. Okay, well, it was one of those, but it worked out. Okay. So I think something to consider here. You might want to consider down smash here. Because it definitely knocked down at this percent. And it pushes Puff in the corner. You're not going to get anything solid off F tilt anyways right now. You could also theoretically, another decent option would just to be do another fair. Like it's really important in this matchup, I think, to bully Puff with your aerials, because like she can do a lot of can bully Puff pretty hard when Puff is facing her. Like when Puff is facing her or like facing her in the air, you can bear her or fair her and outrange her. And when she's on the ground, she doesn't have any high priority moves that she doesn't have any moves that hit above and in front of her. Like she has pretty much, and she doesn't have many moves that her options are like nair, like rising nair, I guess rising fair, and like up smash had a shield. But those are all in order for a fair narrative shield, she has to predict the attack, like the aerial coming. And in order for her to be able to up smash that shield, you have to mess up pretty hard. So this means that like you can be really aggressive with Puff with your aerials, even when she's at low percents. Like if you watch Swedish play, actually I'll just load the Swedish set. A Swedish versus Puff set. I think there's a good one. There's a good example against Snowy. Snowy. Yeah, this one. Actually, did I watch? Okay, this might be a better one to watch. Although I mean, I'm not sure how deep the metagame, the personal metagame between these two players goes. But this should. Oh, they had a tournament at a tennis court, like an outdoor tournament. That's sick. So he first charges the needles when Puff isn't threatening him. Like actually, this set doesn't illustrate it super well. I guess it's just because it's at low percent. Okay. Like here, like this sort of stuff. Like just going, like just getting, like using your faster moves to stuff Puff's slower moves. I'm gonna go to a different set because I think this set, the set at Optic Arena, is a much better example of like aggressive sheiK versus Puff. So this one right here. Like notice how when like Swedish is kind of disrespecting Puff a little bit, and he's using his faster moves to stuff her slower moves, and he's trying to get under, like aggressively take space to get under her, so that he can nair her and like interrupt her aerials, like get in, like basically he's trying to get inside. This is another perfect example of him just like of how you should treat grounded Puff. Just like this, fair her, hit shield, fair again. Fair again, fair again, and just rinse and repeat. Just rinse and repeat. There's also an important interaction I want to highlight, an important like situation. So when sheiK gets Puff in this situation, where you're below and to the side of Puff, that's actually one of the strongest positions for sheiK, because you can do rising fair and stuff for bear. Like I'm not sure what hitbox that is. I don't think that's a bear hitbox. Might have been an up air hitbox. But anyways, so you can you use fairs, high priority, faster frame data, or bears again, high priority because that they both have so much disjoint and faster frame data. Because I think bears frame 4, if I am correctly. Frame data melee. I'm pretty sure bears frame 4. Yeah, bear hits 4. Fair hits 5, I think. Yeah, bear hits on frame 5. And nair, of course, hits on frame 3. So fair and nair, nair and bear are both really solid at stuffing Puffs, stuffing Puff, because bear is actually pretty slow move, all things considered. It comes out. We'll just do another one to get the bear frame data, because this is really important for understanding the matchup and for understanding how sheiK gets hits against strictly Puff. Because when you're under Puff, okay, yeah. So bear hits frame 9. Bear hits frame 9. Nair hits like frame 6, so that's so like bear hits frame 9. Downer hits frame 5, although not many puffs are going to be trying to downer your aerials preemptively. But the important thing is bear hitting on frame 9, because that means that you can be really aggressive when you get under puff. When you get to a situation like this, you can be really aggressive with stuffing puff's aerials with your fair bear, or even your Nair if she's close enough to you. And you can also do the same thing. Like if you can manage to dash under her and get under her, then you can Nair her really safely, or even up air her. But in general, you want to be like again. So notice how again Swedish went for the aerial as soon as he got under puff. But so anyways, going back to the blackout set, let's keep watching. So that was a solid opportunity for a grab. Like it looks like you got a little bit scared in your dash dance and weren't really sure what to do with this opportunity. But again, I think something worth considering again is to right here instead of like wave dashing, just short hop bear puff shield, or even right here just short hop fair, like right here just short hop fair puff shield, and it would be a pretty advantageous for you. Because as long as you space outside shield grab range, don't really have much to be afraid of. How'd you get hit? Yeah, I think you saw the opportunity right here. You saw the opportunity for grab, but you kind of just messed up in the moment. And like you thought that this opportunity for grab would be alive while you're doing your dash dance, but Puff sees you doing your dash dance and just feels safe to move out. So she wave dashes back out of shield. Catches your shield. So I think this whole situation would have been avoided if you had either gone for the grab earlier, or if you had a short hop aerial the shield instead. Oh, and you think it's just gonna be an empty land, so you jump out. Okay, getting comboed. I don't think there was much you could do to get out of that. Was there anything you could do? Yeah, it looks like it was just clean tech chase. Okay. Okay, let's look at it. I think if you space this, you might have time to get outside to get away from F smash. Yeah, that looks. I mean, I'm behind. Try my mic. I mean, I'm behind the general idea here. Like, I'm behind fairing that. I mean, he kind of just. I guess let's look at what you could have instead of fairing, I guess. So Puff F smashes. I think you might have had time to. I think you may have had time to grab that, but you definitely had time to down smash that. Like down smash is really good in these situations where Puff is trying to crouch cancel you. She's like trying to find a crouch cancel opening. But I mean, spaced fair also pretty good. You kind of just, if you had short hop back here, you would have gotten the perfect spacing and probably would have gotten about a frame or two to act out of the F smash. Like to act before F smash hit. Okay, good stuff. The short hop was pretty unnecessary. I don't think it really accomplished much. Like, if you want a short hop here, short hop from like right about here or so. Like short hop from like right here, straight forward, so that you can fair, miss tech, or tech in place. And then like fair, miss tech, or tech in place. And I guess react everything else. I don't think you can really react everything else in that situation though. Yeah, I mean, you could also just help. You could also just hold stage here and charge needles. That's something that I think is a little missing from your game. You don't really find opportunity. You don't find opportunities to charge needles. So I think that'd be a big area. I think for improvement, just like finding spots to charge needles in. Because they are really important in the matchup. Like a lot of your combos come from needles, come from aerial needles into like a tilt or a down smash, or even a grab if you get a full stack. Being able to convert into a grab with through needles is really important. Now you just messed up your movement a little bit, understandable. But did you need to move back there? You didn't necessarily have to move back there. If you look at the situation, Puff is still at, you could also just like run forward. I mean, you could F-tilt here to zone out and dash forward. I mean, yeah, you could F-tilt here, zone out and dash forward. It wouldn't be too amazing though. You could also short hop back again. You could short hop back again for sure. Just short hop back, so not the donut dash forward with the fair. I don't think you need to move back too far here. I think if you move back, if you do move back, it should be to do a short hop aerial, like a short hop away bear here. I guess you could just dash wave dash to center stage and charge needles. That would definitely be something worth considering. I'm just gonna make sure I'm recording, just in case. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so all of this is an example of time you could have been using to charge needles. It's all time you could have spent charging needles. You could have that's just a big part of the matchup, finding spots to charge needles in. That's what we saw Swedish do in the most recent set against Snowy. Just in general, to learn more about this matchup, also, just as a side note, I'd really recommend watching Swedish, because his brother is actually a Puff main. His brother, Mr. F, is a Puff main in Jersey, I believe. So he has a lot of experience in the matchup. And he also just plays a really fundamental style that's well suited to playing fighting Puff. Okay, anyways. I'm gonna change the music. There's words in it. Words are messing me up. Okay. You could have full hop away to the platform, charge needles. That would be decent here. Or just dash wave dash away, charge needles. Albeit would have been pretty solid here. You're trying to wave dash in. Yeah, I'm really The F smash that Puff does here is really weird. You could probably something to consider would be short hop aerialing in this spot. That'd be pretty darn good. You're at the perfect spacing for it. I don't super understand wave dash forward. Maybe you're trying to like wave dash F tilter or wave dash down smasher. But if you were trying, you could have just done it out of your run. Maybe you're trying. No, that wouldn't be a boost grab input. Okay. Anyways, take a trade. Oh, this Puff. This Puff is a madman. I think that's definitely a read he can start making on this Puff. Like he's just going to F-smash at close range whenever possible. He's going to F-smash after you whiff and move in front of him. Pretty much every time. Okay, I like it. I like it. You could up air there and maybe kill. Yeah, you could double jump, up air. Okay, now this is I need data question. Because this might be something to focus on in the matchup. Oh wait, not that. Okay, attacker, sheiK, up there, clean. Okay, both have the same hitbox. They're both data. Fox, Puff. And Puff is at 82. Is that accurate to where she was? She was over to the... Okay, she was above top platform. Yeah, that's dead. That is a dead Puff if you connect that up air. Yeah, so... Yeah, that's kill. Yeah, that definitely would have killed her. So, just something to be aware of. Would it, like at around this percent, you want to try and prioritize up air. And you can get up air off of F tilt. You can definitely get off down tilt. And at this percent, you can so at this percent, you should be thinking about how to kill Puff. Either with the jab into fair, or down tilt into fair, up air, or F tilt into fair, up air. Oh, good shit. Okay, dashed up air. Okay, that works too. Okay, I like what you're doing. Okay, be really careful with that. Be super duper careful of coming down directly on top of Puff. Like in general, for sheiK, you should be very careful at coming down directly on top of any character. Just because like weak back air really bad, weak nair really bad. Like you pretty much never want to come down on someone. Come down on top of someone if you can help it as sheiK. So something you could have done, you might have been able like shield drop here, like shield drop fair here, and beat his back air. I'm not sure if you got the full drift away. I think even with you were very close. It looks like you were kind of close to getting the strong hitbox. But I think this is definitely a pretty big mistake. You could also just charge needles. You could totally just charge needles there. Like in this situation. You could just keep on charging needles. Like go back to charging needles because you see it's not threatening you. Like just finding opportunities to get needles is really, really important, as I said before. So like, in situations like this, I want to see you charge needles a lot more and prioritize getting that free damage. I want to see you just hold needles a lot more and like wait for an opportunity to use them. I think you kind of are too loose on the too trigger happy with your needles. Like you charge them for a while. Like you charge them and you just immediately use them, not saving them at all. So something to be aware of. Try and conserve your needles because they represent basically they represent free damage, and you want to get as much as possible out of them. Like either comboing from them or just hitting Puff with them straight up. I see we're trying to shield. You could have nared that. You could have just rising nared that. For sure. Like right here you can just rising nair her. I guess maybe you didn't want to challenge the pound. But let's look at the pound hitboxes. I'm not sure what it looks like under Puff. Nair. Pretty lackluster for hitbox below it. And let's look at sheiK's. Oh, sheiK's in there. From data. Period. There. Not great. I get not super great. Maybe fair to be better suited to the situation. You can also up air her. You could definitely up air here in the situation. Was that just a shield poke? I don't think that was a shield poke. I think you're trying to activate a shield. Okay. Okay, don't be very careful with being too hasty with your grabs. That's not gonna lead to anything. You can maybe F tilt off that, maybe dash attack off that. You might be able to dash attack off that if you're trying to convert from that needle. Okay, don't reach. Remember not to reach. Don't flail. Don't just throw a dash attack out because you think it might hit. If you're gonna throw this dash attack, you should intentionally overshoot it to catch Puff's drift away. Like this would also this right here. This might be a down tilt. You could probably scoop her out with a down tilt. You could also scoop her out with an F tilt most likely, or even a down smash. I think so. You're trying to waveland on the platform. You were trying to waveland onto the platform. You got chained instead, so you panicked a little bit and just went for the first opportunity you saw. But remember, you gotta work Puff, open her up before you can do anything to her. Okay, you were trying to catch her air dodge leg. Okay. Okay, I like your usage of needles. I definitely like your usage of needles a lot more than the first stock. I think they're making a big difference. Oh, be careful about grabbing there. Be very careful about grabbing. This should be an up air. Up air kills there. Dash for one frame. Dash, short up, rising up air kills to that percent. So I guess another note would be to remember your percents. Know your percents. Know which percents you can, you can kill Puff at. At that percent, any straight aerial will kill Puff, so it doesn't really matter. It also means they should prioritize finding straight hits and neutral, and don't I mean, you could jab. Jab is another good option when Puff's at that percent. Okay, you could with punish. Okay, be very careful about that. I think maybe this is a common sheiK problem. But be very careful about attacking into this exact situation. If you want to attack here, I definitely recommend fair. Like this dash attack just is not. It's not gonna be. It's not high rewards at all. You're not gonna be able to combo puff off it. And even if you hit it, like even if you hit her with it, you're not gonna get anything. You can just get crouch canceled and punished for it. Like Puff almost does here. Puff could have rested you off this straight up. Puff could have rested you right here, but she messed up, I think. It's like that one worked out, but just be really careful, man. I wanna see you doing intelligent dash attacks. So only do them at percents. Like now at this percent you can do them. Like you can catch Puff out of the air and get a pretty significant amount of percentage off of it. But here in this situation, nuh-uh, no siree. If you're gonna be aggressive here, use short hop fair. Like use short hop fair. You could running down smash, I guess. You can't boost grab. You can't grab her here. But just be careful, and I think that's a big note to take away from this. Just in general, be careful about like don't flail, don't overextend yourself. Like don't like make decision like throw moves out because you think they might hit. Throw them out because you think they will hit, and like anticipate the movement of the other player when you're thinking about that kind of stuff. Okay. I mean, I like your general game plan. I think you got a solid game plan in general for the matchup. It's just kind of the finer points are a bit lacking. And you're a little bit. I think in general you're a little bit. Like you pass opportunities a little bit. Although I mean it's hard to say because you're just like winning this game so solidly. So I'm definitely gonna be more interested in you losing as far as insight, like things to gain insight from. This is a big reason why you should be careful about full hopping in this matchup. Unless you're full hop rising aerial to catch Puff when she's diagonally above you. Like full hopping against grounded Puff can be problematic just because it gives her an opportunity to get under you. Whereas if you had short hopped here, you just like get clean zoning and push her into the corner. And I guess you could have also held center stage in this situation. You know, like short hop here, I think would be better, much better. Just because if she stays in place, it allows you to keep pressuring her. Okay, again, remember to be careful about full hopping. Like especially, like be very careful about full hopping and coming down directly on top of Puff. And in general, be careful about coming down directly on top of Puff. Up air has a ton of disjoint, and up tilt has a decent amount. Okay. That grab wasn't being ambitious. Like at this percent, I'm assuming you were trying to grab her out of the air. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames to grab her with. Like I think you could have grabbed here if you were frame perfect. But in general, be very careful about grabbing Puff in this kind of situation. There's what F smash we saw. Where you whiffed a move in front of Puff and she immediately F smashed. Definitely something to take note of. Careful about double jumping, like using your double jump up. You could have just went a little bit lower and upbeat the stage. Just nair that every day of the week. Like I think that's something that's really important in the matchup is shield, like getting like shielding so that like that. Yeah, okay, that using nair to shield to punish Puff for bad aerials on your shield, because it lets you get out of the corner here in this situation, and it's really important in general against Puff, because if you shield a bear and she's too close to you, you can wave dash forward F tilter or nair her if she's really deep. You can also like wave dash forward jab her, wave dash forward down smash her. Okay, let's calm down with the grabs. No flailing. Always remember that. Okay, how'd you get hit there? So that was spaced. And you jabbed. Okay. I think if you try back here, you avoid that. So that's frame 1 of jab animation. I think if you try back here, you avoid the F smash. And also if you dash back here, you avoid the F smash. That's in general. It's really important to remember. Like an important thing to keep in your toolbox against Puff's crouch is just dash back after your fairs, like dash back or dash forward after your aerials, because it really helps with not getting punished for aerialing her. Okay, then you throw out the Hail Mary grab. Yeah, this is okay. Just like be very careful. Be very careful about grabbing. You should only be using it to whiff punish. Like whiff punish, or when you see her shielding and have a read on her that she's not gonna like spot dodge a shield. Because every single Puff, when they're in this situation where they just whiffed a move against sheiK, they're gonna crouch to duck under any grab, because they know that every sheiK is looking for a grab in this situation, as they're just barely coming out of leg. They're just about to come into leg, both of you. And you can only, like, there aren't really any hard and fast times when you can grab Puff other than with punishing her. So it's like it's very situational, and in general, it's better to opt to not grab instead of grab. And I think that's a recurring theme in this set, that you're a little bit too trigger happy with your grabs and dash attacks. Just because I think you're a bit too trigger happy with the grabs and dash attacks. I think because you're used to the risk reward for them in other matchups, whereas in the Puff matchup, the risk is much higher. And the reward is about the same, but the risk in this and against Puff is much higher, so it makes it into like a very situational niche option. Okay, you get arrested for it. Puff shouldn't be dead off this. Oh god, I hope you win this. I hope you win this so badly. Okay, let's go. Let's go, Blackout. You're my hero. So we get an FT for the last game? Okay. Oh shit. Okay. So FD is going to reduce the game to a much more simple version of the matchup. It's going to make finding diagonal angles to Puff much more important. And like charge needles at the very start is still the right play, but again, don't be too trigger happy with your needles. You just fire them right off instead of holding them. Yeah, I guess you. Oh, again, you try and grab. Crouch cancel grab also not that good in the matchup because Puff can just immediately crouch after her aerials end, especially if she's naring you. So I mean that's definitely a recurring theme, as I've said before. Don't throw out grabs. Don't flail. Don't flail with your dash attacks. Don't flail with your grabs. Really important in the matchup. Okay, let's go back. I think there was an opportunity for you there. So this situation is what I'm talking about, where you can get to this angle with Puff, where she's drifting forward. She's about to enter into your back air cover, like right about here. She's drifting forward. She's about to enter it. So this is a situation where like rising full hop back air becomes really good, and so I think definitely try when you find yourself in this situation, like actively looking out for the situation, and like trying to full hop rising bear, full hop rising fair when you find yourself in it. So yeah. Anyways. Okay, so we dashed by the first time. You get to fair spacing. You could have faired her here. Would have been pretty solid. Good dash back. From this spacing, you can charge needles. Definitely something worth considering. This full hop doesn't really accomplish much. And so this range, you can dash forward. Okay, you full hop up air this range. You could have. I think dashing forward would have been the play though, instead of just straightaway jumping. I think if you dash it a little bit deeper, and then rising fair, like immediate rising fair, I think you beat out Puff's back air there. Jump into Puff's pound. I mean, there's not much you could have done there. Maybe you could have up aired. Maybe. Okay, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? This has to end. Please, dear Lord. Yeah, you really gotta cut it out with grabbing this matchup. And I think especially something I've noticed is that when you hit with a move, you pretty much, you very often try and grab Puff afterwards. You try and grab Puff afterwards. It doesn't really ever work out for you. And you also try and grab her at obvious spacings. So very important. Again, don't, especially in this matchup, don't throw out a grab unless you know for certain it will hit. Again, try and keep your grabbing to true whiff punishes. True whiff punishes and true shield grabs. Those are pretty much the only things you should be grabbing in this matchup. Unless they're shielding, as part of shield pressure. I mean, even then, they can still just they can wave dash and duck it because they Puff's like wave dash animation keeps her in low profile, so you just wave dash and duck it there. So even on shield, like even this part of shield pressure, grab's really dangerous. That's why you generally just go with repeated aerials to shield pressure her. Get rested? Oh no. Puff messed up a little bit. You just take ledge there. Just take ledge there and like rising, like bear from the ledge here, like ledge, like jump away, bear her, then re-grab the ledge. That would have been solid. I see you trying to needle her though. That was also a solid option. You should needle a little bit closer. Oh well though. Got the kill. Okay, with charge needles on the ground in general. Like here in this, like right here, you should hella be charging needles. Like charge needles while standing in this sort of position. Yeah, like charge needles while standing in this sort of position. You can get probably about 3 or 4 here before Puff comes close enough that you have to act. Here's that angle again. You get yourself to that angle, you could have rising fair her. Like if you jump right here, you can rising fair her. But it wouldn't be super high reward. Oh, you were late acting out of it. Happens. Yep, good stuff. Okay, so you're trying to get the angle on her. Or just dash forward in this situation. Dash forward or dash back. Both work. Okay. I think this is another example of that situation. Actually, not. The situation didn't happen. Actually, hold on. Yeah, she was coming. Yeah, she was too far away to you for like fair to really be a solid option. Oh, it happened again? Okay, were you actionable? Yeah, you were actionable. You tried to dash in. So in this situation, I think it would be a read you could make is that the Puff is just gonna unga bunga smash you for like out of crouch cancel. I mean, he's done that pretty much every time. Like whenever you whiff or hit crouch cancel, or whenever you whiff move or he crouch cancels a move right in front of you, pretty much always F smashes. Okay, good example. Great stuff finding that angle. Yep, that's what you want to do. A perfect example of how the matchup should be played for sheiK. Okay. You're gonna kill her? No. Just wave dash the ledge. Wave dash the ledge, please. If you wave dash the ledge, you have a pretty easy back air on her. I'm pretty sure. Definitely something to test out though if you play with any puffs. Yep. That's it. Okay. Is that true with punish? I don't love this grab. I don't like this grab at all. I mean, was she in talking at the leg? So she wave dashed. She inputted a wave dash, inputted a jump, I think. I believe that's what this is. So she could have crouched. Be very careful. Like I want to see you definitely flail. Like have intention behind your grabs. Like a cut down on your grabs, not necessarily have intention behind your grabs, because I think you pretty clearly are reacting to situations. If you like situations that in other matchups would call for a grab, but in this matchup, the grab gets much worse. So you could wave dash forward. You could wave dash forward after that bear. I think you were trying to wave dash forward there, but it didn't. You just messed up your tech skill a little bit. And of course, be careful about putting yourself in range of back air. Like you want to stay outside it. Like be dash dancing around outside it, or like get through it with shield stops. Or like to get through it with shield stops. Dash dance around it. Like crouch under it, or like crouch the back air and just get an F tilt or a down tilt. Again, this guy. This fucking guy. At this point, you should just be expecting it. Like, you should totally just be expecting the F smash. So you could dash back to avoid it and then react to it, or I could react to it coming out with a grab and just whiff punish him. You might. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You dashed into it again. Yeah, you did that last time. So you had enough frames to just jump over it as well. You could have totally just jumped over it and come down with an air fair. Were you just missing the ledge here? Is that what's happening? Again, be careful about just firing needles off, like being too trigger happy with your needles. I think on the platform stages you were using it like in towards the end, like in game 2 you were mostly using them pretty well, especially like platform needles. But like it's really important to remember in this match, like on this stage, it's like your full hop and short hop needles are still really important, and you shouldn't be wasting them. Again, be very careful about attacking in a Jigglypuff in situations like this. Like in these situations, you might just be better off doing an aerial, like short hop forward, like short hop back bear, or turn around short hop fair here. You would probably be better off down smashing here. And if you do dash attack here, always remember to get the reverse hitbox, like cross her up with it. So Puff should be dead here. You should be uppering her. I guess she's also dead there. Okay. But I think definitely work on your like that down throw to up air punishes. How'd you get rested? He was just acting out of shield too soon. Or at a bad time. You're going to go with these needles, like you're canceling these needles a little bit too early. Like when you see Puff floating out, you should cancel them and just like keep playing neutral. Again, be careful about being too trigger happy with your needles. Okay, was that a whiff punish? I guess you saw wave dash. Yeah, be careful. Be super duper careful. Like in general, I think one of the problem areas I've noticed is that you just very often do Hail Mary like dash attacks or boost grabs. They don't really work out too well most of the time. Or like in this example, like in this time they worked out. But I think you got a little bit lucky here. Not quite. Almost. If you jab there, I think. If you jab there. Okay, actually it was a bit too far away for jab, was it? Maybe down tilt. Down tilt might have comboed on the up air there. But up tilt's fine. Like it's fine. That was a both punish, right? Yeah, that was a punish. Good shit. That's the grab you want. Like, that's the grab you want. Okay. So that's the set. Takeaways. Okay, so big takeaway. Don't be... So, okay, takeaway. Don't be too trigger happy with needles or with F, like or boost grab or dash attack. Remember that pretty much always, pretty much always, you should only be grabbing Puff if you're whiff punishing her, if you're shield grabbing her, or if you like are shield pressuring her and you have like good reason to believe that she'll keep shielding. So also like I want to see you charge needle. Not just really charge needles more. Actually, okay. When you have center stage, I want to see you charge needles more. I want to see you charge needles more, and not be too trigger happy with them. And remember that the golden angle for fighting Puff is directly below or like below to the side of her, because that way you can get rising back air on her. And as far as shield pressure goes, I want it like in general like just doing fairs over and over on her shield is pretty solid against Crouching Puff in general. Like against Crouching Puff, you got when you fired her, you got crouch cancel the S smashed a lot of the time, but you had frames to act with. So when you're playing against a guy like this who's just like who does one thing like in that situation, like in crouch cancel situations, or in general, be aware that that dashing back is always good. Short hopping again is always good after you hit them. After you hit them crouching. Anything else? Work on your down throw to up air combo, like combos. You should have because up air starts killing at like 85 to 90. And fair starts killing at like, if you're right on the side, it kills at like 90 to 100. But if you're in the middle of the stage, it kills at like 110, 120, I think. Maybe not even that. So yeah, definitely work on those. And I'm just gonna say it again because I think it's really important from what I've seen, from what I saw in the set. Don't throw out boost grab or dash attack unless you know. Like, don't throw out boost grab or dash attack without without reason in this matchup, just because those are both two great ways to get rested. Those are both two fantastic ways to get rested. And in general, like, remember that the risk reward is different in this matchup, just because of how often Puff is going to be crouching on the ground. And dash attack isn't really the best like combo starter anyways against Puff. It's more about down tilt. Like down tilt especially is a great combo starter against Puff. And like down tilt, F tilt, jab at higher percents. But I feel like after watching that set, there were like in that set there were a lot of autopilot dash attacks and boost grabs that you didn't really think through. And remember not to flail, and always have intention behind your moves. And like when you do move, you should do it because you think it will hit, right? Because you're you think it will hit, you think you're gonna catch the opponent out of their movement pattern, maybe you overshoot because you predict a dash back, or because you see a dash back, or you're calling out their dash back with the boost grab, or calling out their movement with the boost grab. Whereas the worst, instead of just automatically dash attacking or boost grabbing at the dash attack / boost grab spacing, because that's a fantastic way to get whiff punished, or in this matchup rested. So I mean, other than that, I like in general the game plan you have in this matchup. I think it's pretty solid. I think you're a little bit too cautious playing against Puff. You give her a little bit too much space, and you really want to have center stage so that you can charge needles in this matchup. So I think that'll do it for the recording.